episode of the podcast. And Power Hinton is not here because he's dealing with some stuff. So, in the next episode, he will be here. But I am here with Skay.
Hello there. Hey, it's me, the RWG, aka the Skay, aka ShinKouShow, aka I have far too many names on the internet, but places like YouTube won't allow me to change the name, so it just makes everything searching for me on Google a complete nightmare. But anyway, how are you doing, everybody? Hope you're having a lovely whatever today is. I don't know if this is the kind of podcast where we say what the date and the time is. That's a rage problem. That's not a me problem.
I mean, today is Sunday. That if you're watching just the raw live stream footage, then yes, it is Sunday today, November 17th. But if you're watching it like in clips and bits, or you're watching it like days later, well then, I don't know. But anyways, alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the state of Xenoverse 2. Like, on the first episode, I did talk about that with Pyro Hinton. But now I'm going to be talking about that with you, Skay. So, what is your opinion on the state of Xenoverse 2 at the moment?
Xenoverse has always been a strange game for me. I mean, for anyone who's never seen me before, hi, how you doing? I've been doing YouTube and streaming for a really long time now. Not been particularly successful with it, except with Dragon Ball Z content for some strange reason. People have been joking I've been turning to a DBZ channel, and I was just like, no, you don't understand. I can do other things, you guys, you don't understand. But I have very mixed feelings when it comes to Xenoverse, because Dragon Ball Z, well, the whole brand, has been going on a crazy long length of time at this point. It's like some brands in this day and age, if they go on for long enough, they almost become, like, dare I say it, like a religion or something like that. Like, some of the fans can be that devoted, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but it does affect, like, how everything gets treated with that. Like, I do get this feeling sometimes that anything that gets released that has, like, the Dragon Ball name on it, people will get hyped just because it has the brand on it, not necessarily because it's a good game. Although, to be fair, lately we've had Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Fighter Z, and the Legacy of Goku remake, which is coming out in January. No, wait, was it February 20? But anyway, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, folks. I'm trying to do a bad joke there, but anyway, yeah, the whole thing with Xenoverse is it's always been a bit of a mixed bag, because I've seen how passionate people get with that game. Like, there's countless videos on YouTube who want to treat Xenoverse like it's an esports game, a PvP game, a 3D arena fighter. I mean, anime in general, you can probably agree as well, I'm sure, Rage, that, like, anime is very common for them to do what they call, like, arena fighters, just like fighting but like in a 3D arena.
Yeah, kind of like Jump Force in a sense.
Jump Force and the Naruto games. I mean, My Hero Academia is probably one of the newest ones. At one time we had things like Bleach doing it as well and stuff like that. Oh yeah, One Piece, can't forget One Piece. Those are the main ones that come to mind. But it's always been interesting because it's like the community seems to have one idea of what it wants for the games, and Bandai Namco seems to have another idea of what they want for the games, and they've always seen the games as kind of almost like, for Xenoverse at least, they always seem to have treated the games as like a love letter to the fans, but at the same time being almost like a light action RPG.
Yeah.
And I know some people don't want to hear that, and there's a lot of games out there now which have, like, RPG elements in them, but bottom line, I do feel like Xenoverse is more of an action RPG than it is an esport, a fighting game, or whatever name you want to call it, sort of thing. So because of that, it just creates this kind of divide of what the community wants and what Bandai Namco has. And I mean, this is a problem as well. That I know people talk about this all the time. One of the biggest complaints I'm always seeing on social media and everything about Xenoverse is like, when are you going to fix the netcode on Xenoverse, guys? Oh wait, never. Here's the thing. I completely understand your frustration, and I understand where you're coming from. But I'm doing air quotes right now, but you can't see it. Traditional fighting games have the exact same problem. The netcode is garbage. It's one of the biggest things that holds like traditional fighting games back. Like, just for example, like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, that sort of thing. Even they have bad netcode too. That's why a lot of times with those, people insist, oh, if you're going to play fighting games, you need to play in the same room, because then it takes out the netcode problem. It then becomes purely about skill and peer pressure. But going forwards, there's a lot of dangers I think that could happen with Xenoverse. That like, with how games are built now, it feels like having an RPG thing in a lot of games now, where you have to work with numbers, adjust your character stats, change the loadouts, but for like skills, equipment they're wearing, and stuff like that. It's quite common in a lot of games now. Mm-hmm. But there's this danger that we make these huge, gigantic games, which they claim are like full of content, but they actually, what makes the game actually huge is they might have a lot of grinding in them. I'm sure you know what I mean when I say that, don't you, Rage?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, you might have some game that might have, say, let's just say, I don't know, 12 hours of content, but because of the grind, you stretch that out to maybe like hundreds of hours. TP medals, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, TP medals, because that's a warning of what could happen in the future. I'm not saying we're going to have Dragon Ball Z loot boxes. If anything, that's the last thing I want to happen. Please, God, don't ever let that happen. But it's very much a danger. It's very much a danger, and I think with the way games are designed now, especially with a brand like Dragon Ball Z, there's almost this element sometimes of how much can we tease and abuse the fans and get away with it. Like, say for example, if they did put loot boxes in there, they might try it just to see, like, can we get away with this? Will they put up with the fact that, let's just say, you have to get the move Kamehameha in a loot box, but then to get the full powered version of Kamehameha, you have to say, like, get 10 copies of it, and then you combine them together and make, like, the full powered version of the move. I know that sounds scary and kind of messed up. I know that sounds kind of scary and kind of messed up, but that is something they could do, possibly. And I'm worried what might happen is they might do something like that, and we're going to end up with a thing with the community where there's going to be one group of people saying, this is bullshit. What the hell are you doing? And another group of people, and probably the content creators, if I'm perfectly honest, being like, come on guys, be positive, you're not fan enough.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they're kind of already, in a sense, somewhat doing that already, because if you don't want to put in the grind to get TP medals, then you could just go ahead and buy it with actual real money.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Some video games do this thing where they will make the grind even worse, but they'll give you shortcuts in the form of giving you ways to pay money to get around it, or to speed up the process, stuff like that. It's a big danger that exists, because like it's just been going along on a very long time now that there are some gamers that we've almost been like groomed in such a way. I don't know a better word for it than groomed, sorry. We've almost been groomed in this way to be like, if a game is not at least 10 hours long, we've been ripped off. In fact, some people feel even that's them getting ripped off. So that's created this situation of some games will create ways to, in my honest opinion, some games create these like extra things for you to do, which are kind of wasting your time.
Like,
in fact, I can probably give you an example of the story mode from Fighter Z. Now the basic idea behind the story mode in Fighter Z was really good, but what it actually is, it's kind of a training mode in disguise. But it's made extra long because, we have to get a certain amount of hours out of this game, otherwise they're going to feel ripped off.
yeah, like, but even though, yeah, it is a little bit of a tutorial in disguise and all that, but at the end of the story mode, I think, from what I remember, you unlock Majin 21, Android 21.
Oh yeah, that as well. They did. That was another trick they did. You had to either play through the story mode, or I think it was a pre-order bonus, or you could pay DLC for it or something. Was the other methods?
I don't think I've ever heard of any other methods for fighters, but that's what you basically get. Module 21 if you completed the story of fighters. And then they released just separate characters like Blue Gogeta, Blue Vegito, Videl, Bardock, all of them, but as separate DLC characters.
To be clear to people in the podcast, though, listening to this podcast, I don't think the story mode is bad in Fighter Z. It's more the fact that there's not enough variety in there. Most of it is like you're fighting training dummies, and they're not even asking you to do anything like particularly complicated with it.
Yeah, just doing like the pretty basic things. Like if you're playing Goku, then it asks you to do just like a Kamehameha, then a basic auto combo.
Mash light punch a bunch.
Yeah. And then also
that's fine to start with, but by the end of the story mode, you need a bit more variety than that, you know?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's all, the beginning of what fighters do. To make like the players learn, okay, this is how you do the Kamehameha, this is how you do the most basic combo, and then etc, etc. And then of course there is a training room where that's when you actually learn actual combos, and then it gets a little bit complicated through there.
We're kind of going through examples here, viewers or listeners, I should say. But what I'm really getting at here is the way video games work now. There's this big dynamic between the community and the developers that it doesn't matter how much you like a game. No developer is your friend. At the end of the day, they're still trying to make money. It's just some of them are nicer than others about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to be careful about that, I think.
Yeah, because even though it's like, for example, back in the day, I know it kind of sounds like old, but I mean, if you had Xenoverse since day one, they used to do these type of live streams, like announcing like new stuffs and all that. Yeah. And what they do is that they sometimes get YouTubers who also do Xenoverse content. Like for example, Rhymestyle. They brought in Rhymestyle multiple times in their live streams, and then I think they brought Syriax one time. And I don't know the other YouTubers that they brought. Brought in, but you see that even if they invited those YouTubers, okay, they have connections towards Bandai and all that, since they were invited to their live streams.
That's the other danger as well, right? Is I have to use an example here. Sorry, is a lot of people, when they see reviews from games from like news places, video game websites, IGN, that sort of thing, a lot of people feel like they can't trust that, and with good reason, because often they'll do things like they'll get free shit. I mean, just to give you an example, right? I saw someone who was doing a review for Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch. He was sent a gift box by Nintendo, which had a copy of the game, a T-shirt, cutouts that you could like put on pumpkins to make like Luigi's Mansion theme stuff, and a Nintendo Switch.
Wow.
He was sent all that free stuff before he's even reviewed the game, and that causes something that people sometimes call a conflict of interest. And it's like, this person's already been nice to me. That means I might not be as harsh as I might have been otherwise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially now with YouTube, there's a lot of gaming channels which might like specialize on only like a couple of games. So sometimes people might be a bit more optimistic than they would be otherwise, because it's like, if this game dies, that's my livelihood, man. I have to go back to working in McDonald's. McDonald's, man. I ain't going back. I ain't going back. It's not that I'm. To be clear though, I'm not crapping on anybody. I'm not saying you can't trust these people. I'm saying probably the best thing to do. In fact, sooner or later I'm going to do probably my own podcast as well and say something like this. But I would say, when it comes to anything now more than ever, you need to hear people's bad opinions and good opinions on something, because unless they're being dickheads about it, they're almost always both telling some bit of the truth, but they've both got their own part of the truth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, when they review a game, it really depends. If the company actually gave them something, then they'll rate it higher, but still give a little bit of their thoughts. Just sprinkle in a little bit here and there, but mostly just talk good about the game. It's like, the thing is, like with like, for example, the recent game that actually came out, Pokemon Sword and Shield, that game, which
that's a prime example, because there is so much stuff wrong with that game, which is what people were complaining about. Like, they took out the ability to turn off XP share. You have to have XP share turned on all the time, for example. And there was graphic glitches in the game. From what I'm told, the design of the locations were more lazy. People's Nintendo Switches were getting bricked, or their save files were being destroyed because of this game and all this. But those are genuine things. You can't ignore that. But sometimes there was people talking about it on the internet, and then people were saying things like, oh, these people are just complainers, they don't know what they're talking about. In fact, I even saw one thing where someone was saying, if you ever want to work in video games, don't crap on people who make video games. Almost like a threat, you know?
Yeah, because if you do, then they won't hire you, because you just shit on their games.
And I can understand where they're coming from, but there's this thing of like, we just live in these really strange times where it's just like, you're allowed to tell the truth, but not the truth I don't want to hear.
It's like basically half truth. You have to half truth stuff. You can't just say the whole truth. Like for example,
I mean, sorry interrupting. I was just going to say, I mean, write in the comments, guys, what you think, sort of thing. Because personally, I think we need to hear the good side and bad side of everything, because then you can get like a full picture. But I know not everyone feels that way for various different reasons. And I just think that, like, with big games now, like, I mean, obviously we're thinking about things like Xenoverse 3 when that will eventually come out. We need to be careful of things that they might do, of like possibly microtransactions, possibly loot boxes in disguise, possibly RNG, making us waste ages farming. What else? There was another thing.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if you have any ideas. Oh wait,
no,
sorry, I just remembered what the other thing was. Just generally ways that waste the player's time, but you don't really get anything out of it. Me personally, I don't like that sort of thing. I used to be a lot more tolerant of that sort of thing, but I'm not as happy with that anymore.
where you just do some pointless thing in a game and you don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. This is gonna sound like I'm bragging now. Bloody hell! I've spent over 1,000 hours playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse, right? But I feel like I've only spent like maybe 50 of that playing PvP. And that's because of the way the game's designed. It's like you have so much time spent working on all these other things, and yet PvP is almost like a completely separate game, which requires its own practice, its own training, and all this. And there isn't really anything in the game designed for that. In fact, I'm going off on a tangent again. Sorry. That's something to think about as well, I suppose, is like, in a Xenoverse 3, do they need to do something about the PvP to make that a bit more interesting for people? Because it almost feels a little bit like it was thrown in there and they didn't really think people would make that big of a deal out of it, and it's just like, well, actually, that's probably the thing that makes people keep going back the most.
Yes, the whole PvP aspect of it, as well as also creating your own characters too. That's another thing that what keeps bringing people back into it.
That's the other one. I mean, I've said this before in some of my videos. Is like Xenoverse allowing you to make your own character in a game on console as well, because that's another big thing. Creating characters on PC isn't really anything new, but in a console world, that's a lot more rare. There's only like a handful of games that really do that. And when Xenoverse did that, I noticed a bunch of other games were starting to do it as well. I mean, just for example, that awful game Sonic Forces. And when Naruto came out, it had a Ninja Maker and all that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, because creating your own character, that's popular. Like, except for Jump Force. Jump Force is just, it's Jump Force. There's quite a few problems with that. Even if you could create your own character.
Jump Force. That's a whole different topic. Oh God.
Yeah, that we're gonna talk about in a future podcast. Okay, so but not this one. But anyways,
I'm only limited qualified to talk about that anyway. I can mostly go by things I've researched because I didn't put any money into that game. But anyway.
Yeah, well, me neither, but I'm thinking of buying Jump Force. Yes, I know, I understand that Jump Force is a kind of crappy game, but at the same time, there's some character customizations that are not there in Xenoverse 2, but might be there in Jump Force. So I'm just waiting for Jump Force to be on sale, so then I can just go ahead and get it. I'm mostly gonna get it probably on Steam, most likely, because they have a lot of sales on Steam.
Is your computer strong enough for that?
I have no idea.
I would check before you do that. Do you have Xenoverse 2 yet on PC though?
No, because Xenoverse 2 was on sale.
Oh, you missed it.
Yeah, I missed it because it did not notify me. Like, okay, I have Xenoverse 2 on my wish list.
Next time there's a sale, I'll let you know. Also, sorry, just to clarify for chat, Rage does most of his gaming on PS4, whereas I kind of dance between PC and PS4. I would play PS4 a lot more, but it's just I struggle for time these days, especially the fact that I don't do internet content for a living. If I did, that would free up a lot more time to be able to play PS4 stuff. But anyway, sorry, continue.
It's fine. But yeah, I will make PS4 type content only on my PS4. The reason why is because, well, my laptop is old, which I've said that a lot in my live streams, which I live stream on Twitch. But yeah, I only do make content on my PS4. But anyways, Xenoverse 2, I have it on my wish list. Yeah, for some reason, Steam doesn't notify me when Xenoverse 2 is on sale, but it'll notify me all the other games that I have on my wish list. Like, for example, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Please buy a game. Ubisoft is dying.
Well, the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I think that's actually a good game, and I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Which, like, it keeps going on sale. I just keep forgetting to get it. To be honest, I keep forgetting to get it, even though it notifies me. But on Xenoverse 2, like, I actually manually check that every now and then. Okay, is it on sale or not? Because Steam, for some reason, does not notify me at all, but it notifies me other games, which that makes no sense.
I will have to keep an eye on that and let you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully they won't do one of those fake sales where the base game is on sale, but the DLC is still full price. They've done that before, but let's hope they don't do that again. Please no.
Yeah, because that is just BS if they actually do that. Which I think I've seen another game done that before that used to be on my watch list, but not anymore. I forgot what it's called though. It's been a while. But anyways, enough of talking about Xenoverse 2. So let's go to our next topic, talking about our favorite anime. So, what is your favorite anime?
See, this is the thing, because I've not actually been watching that much new anime lately. So most of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is how I've been confusing my friends, showing them older animes. Like lately, I have this one friend who he's been binging on animes, and he's actually run out of animes to watch. So I gave him this one anime to watch called Excel Saga, and after one episode, he was just like, "What is happening?" And yeah, Excel Saga is like an old classic anime, really, from like the noughties era, but it's like it's a guilty pleasure anime of mine, man. Because it's like it's probably the first comedy anime I saw.
Huh.
It's a little hard to explain, though. Do you want me to give this a shot? Or do you want to talk about one of your animes?
Sure, yeah, try to explain it, because, I mean, I never heard of the anime before, but yeah, go ahead, explain
it's
it.
one of the more old school animes, but basically, to try and make sense of it all, Excel Saga is about this one girl who's... I can't even remember how old she is now. Damn, I assume she's like late teens, early adult, I assume. But she's trying to work part-time jobs to like stay in the house she's in and all this. But she's also a member of a secret organization trying to take over the world, starting off with one little area of Japan. It's like, we're going to take over this one smaller part of Japan, and they're going to work our way up from there. With her boss, who is this person called Lord Il Palato, who actually doesn't like her that much, but he puts up with her because no one else will.
What? That makes no sense.
I know, that's that's part of the humor of the show. It's just so much stuff that makes no sense. Like, on the very first scene of the show is Excel graduating from, I think it's high school. So she's like skipping around and everything. Then she walks into the road, gets hit by an ambulance, and then they're just like, "Wait, no, we just killed the main character. We need to start over."
What? Okay. So...
They do spend, for better or worse, they do spend... Because I'm trying to remember however many episodes there are now. Jeez, I can't remember if it was 25 episodes or 50 episodes of it, but... For quite a lot of episodes, they spend time screwing around because it was originally a manga before it was an anime, but one of the things that they do in the anime is there's this running joke of, "What are you doing? You're not following the story. This isn't what happened in the manga."
So they do self-aware, basically.
Oh yeah, there is some fourth wall breaking stuff in there as well. But they do get to a story in the end, but a lot of it's screwing around, messing around, taking the mickey out of other animes and stuff. There's even this one character who at one point his afro turns almost like a Super Saiyan thing. That's pretty funny.
So he's technically, quote unquote, the first Super Saiyan then. Not Goku.
Sure, why not? Oh yeah, even someone who's supposed to be like, oh god, what was his name? Nabishin. Even the guy who's supposed to be the director of the anime shows up doing random things in the show as well.
Wait, he's the director of the anime, yeah, he has his own character within the anime?
Inside the anime, yeah. He shows up
Whoa.
on some episodes to cause extra chaos or help out characters like Excel and stuff like this. Like this one time she gets captured by these soldiers in a jungle, and then Nabishin goes to rescue her and all this, and oh man.
Wow, well you don't hear that every day.
It's just such a crazy anime. If you want something, if you've seen quite a few animes before, especially like classic animes, and you want something a bit more light-hearted and crazy, watch Excel Saga. Most of the episodes are good in terms of the comedy. There's a few ones that are really bad, but overall, it's a trip, my dude.
Yeah, it does sure sound like it. A lot of crazy stuff happening there. Which kind of reminds me of that one anime that I seen on Adult Swim one time that was called Fully Cooley.
I saw that a long time ago. You know what? The humor's a little bit like Fooly Cooley, only less lewd, more crazy. I'd say that. I always thought Fooly Cooley had a bit of like a sexual undertone to a lot of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I do.
Excel Saga does that in a few places, but it's mostly done for laughs.
Well, I mean, the Fully Cooley that I've seen, because from what I've heard, that there's different Fully Coolies, different ones. But the one that I watched, I think it was the original. And that one I didn't really like too much, so...
It's the one that has like 6 episodes, isn't it, or something?
I don't know, because I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes, and then I really looked into it, because I didn't like it that much,
I think the original only had like 4 or 6 episodes. It's been so long since I've watched it, oh man.
Yeah, and well, I didn't like it because it was just too random. It was giving me a little bit too much of Teen Titans Go vibes, a little bit. And
Fooly Cooley is more remembered because I think it was one of the first weird rando animes. But I feel like Excel Saga does better with the humor than Fooly Cooley does. With Fooly Cooley, a lot of it I was like, what is happening? Until the end, things made a bit more sense. Whereas Excel Saga has things like alien invasions with tiny adorable teddy bears, but the fact that they're cute is actually a trap to try and entice you, and then if you actually fight them and knock them out or something, their face changes to something less cute, like an angry man's face or something. It'd be like, oh, why you kill me so easily? Blah.
Well, okay,
that's not an exaggeration. That's what the English dub sounds like. When they beat up some of these like cute bear alien things, their voices suddenly turn like, "Oh, I'm in so much pain."
What? Okay. Well, yeah, that does sound like an interesting yet crazy anime. Then compared to Fooly Cooley, which Fooly Cooley is it's just not so much comedy, it's just so much just randomness that again it's just giving me Teen Titans Go vibes, which is like.
I mean,
no.
do we talk about spoilers on this podcast, or is that off limits? We don't talk about spoilers, okay?
No,
because they say I won't do the spoiler part, but people say Fooly Cooley is about coming of age, going from being a kid to a teenager to an adult, and I can sort of see that, but I can't say more than that because spoilers.
Yeah, well, we don't do spoilers though, so if you haven't watched it Fooly Cooley, I mean, go ahead and watch it, but to me, it just gave me Teen Titans Go vibes, which doesn't, I don't want to continue watching it. But anyways, my favorite anime, which I'm pretty sure it's obvious, but my favorite anime is Dragon Ball, hands down, without a doubt.
I need to watch more of Dragon Ball Super, if I'm honest, because there's a bunch of stuff I haven't seen. Like,
Really?
isn't there a isn't I've missed big chunks of it. I did see things like the Tournament of Power, but I haven't seen things properly, like when doesn't Vegeta get his body stolen or something, and then they brought in the old Vegeta voice actor and everything for the English dub.
Yeah, there was a whole like mini arc. Basically, it's pretty much filler in a sense. That
Yeah, I never saw that properly. I've only seen clips.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna spoil it too much, but yeah, this all I'm gonna say is his body gets somewhat stolen, not in a sense like how Captain Ginyu does it. No, it's kind of different from that. But yeah, Dragon Ball Super, yeah, you gotta watch it though, because I think it's still pretty good. I see some people just shit on Dragon Ball Super, which I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense why though, because it's not as good as Dragon Ball Z in a sense, but still, it's
There isn't I know the reason that everyone praises Dragon Ball Z is because you get this sense of like that characters grow through trauma, and that's what makes them stronger.
yeah, like especially like if you compare Goku as a character from Dragon Ball Super and then to Dragon Ball Z, it's kind of two different characters in a sense. Goku just is addicted to fighting. He's kind of dumb in Dragon Ball Super, while Dragon Ball Z.
He's a genius with fighting and possibly farming, but that's about it.
Yeah, but in Dragon Ball Z, it seems like, oh yeah, he's actually getting more mature. He's getting a bit more serious when it comes to things, while Goku and Dragon Ball Super, no matter what, he doesn't really get necessarily serious. The only time that I remember that he actually does get serious is in the Black Goku arc, where Black Goku and Zamasu were telling Goku that they're going into details how they killed Goku's family, and that's when Goku got serious.
See, I didn't. Oh man.
Oh, you didn't watch that part either.
Oh no. I know about that. I was like, I know. I didn't fully see that properly either, but I know the gist of everything that's happened. Even the thing about how when they think they won, they hadn't actually won, which kind of ruined the whole thing a little bit. But at the same time, that puts a certain character in another situation, shall we say?
Yeah, but like again, it kind of makes sense why people shit on Dragon Ball Super more than they do with Dragon Ball Z. But I still think it's pretty good. And I do sometimes go back and watch a few episodes of Dragon Ball Super.
The thing with Super is they fixed the problem that Z had, where it became that everyone the problem that Z had is it became that everyone who wasn't a Saiyan was almost useless. That was probably the biggest problem that Z had. I mean, if comments disagree, I mean, we can have a conversation. Go ahead, like tell me how I'm wrong and stuff. But that's the vibe I get going back to Z, is that it almost felt like a lot of characters, if they weren't a Saiyan, they weren't that useful a lot of the time. I feel like Super fixed that problem, but for some reason they also decided we hate Goku now.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, I don't think they really fixed that problem, because if we really see it, the center of the show, well, it's obviously Goku, because Goku's the main protagonist. Of course, he's the center of it. But then there's Vegeta, who's also a Saiyan, and then they're gonna add in Broly at some point in Dragon Ball Super. He's also a Saiyan.
Oh my god, freaking Broly! I'm so curious what they're gonna do with that. Are they gonna take a kind of... Are they going to take a kind of almost like Gohan route of it, of like he doesn't like to fight, but at this point he's just trained to be insanely good at it or something, you know?
Yeah.
And plus the fact fighting is the main thing he's ever done, so he's probably almost like a kid in a, what is he, 40 years old?
Yeah, he's like 40 something, yeah.
He's like a kid in an adult's body. There's a lot of interesting things they could do with that. And I won't be surprised if they try and pull another thing of, let's take advantage of how naive Broly is and make things happen based on that. And that's another thing as well. I want to know what happens with Boo's new transformation, which is quite an achievement, by the way, because I actually don't like Boo. But the new transformation is like, oh damn, what are they going to do with him in the future? I'm curious now.
Oh, you mean the skinny Boo?
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like
if they're going to do anything with that.
It sounds like you haven't watched Tournament of Power.
Oh no, I did watch Tournament of Power. I know he went to sleep and everything.
Yeah,
but
he
I mean,
went
like
fat
in terms of
again.
things going forward after that, surely they're going to bring back his skinny Boo form at some point and do something with it.
Yeah, well, I want to see that too. Like, what will happen with that? Because if you think about it, like if you look at Boo's power, Fat Boo, him when he's fat, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if I hear anything about fat shaming, no, okay. I'm talking about a fictional character. I'm not talking about anyone else. Just only Boo. Okay, so anyways,
if you know another name for that Boo, chat, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. I'd love to hear it too. But anyway, so Fat Boo, his power was only Super Saiyan 2 Goku in Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm.
With all that training, he only did 2 hours of training. That's what they said in Dragon Ball Super. He only did 2 hours. Within those 2 hours, he went from Super Saiyan 2 Boo Saga Goku level all the way up to base form Dragon Ball Super Goku. So literally in 2 hours, he jumped from like a ridiculous power. And this is post Goku already, Black Goku Saga, doing all those, getting all that boost.
Oh man, I can't remember who said this now. There was someone in the Dragon Ball community who said power levels are BS. I can't remember who it was now for the life of me.
Team 4-Star.
Was it them?
Yeah, it was them.
That wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, sorry, continue.
But yeah, it was then that they said, oh yeah, power levels are BS. I think it was Vegeta in Team 4-Star that said that. The voice of Vegeta.
Yep.
But correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But yeah, so Boo has a lot of potential. Same thing with Broly. Literally, Broly, all he done, yes, he did train, but he only trained with his father, Paragus, which Paragus, he's not that powerful though. Like, he's just on the level of just, just average Saiyans. While Goku and Vegeta, well, they went through a special type of training, and they got, the power that they are now. Like, every Saiyan kind of has that potential, but Broly is special because, well, how they set up for Broly is pretty much that, he's supposed to be, just like in the original Dragon Ball Z movies, is that Broly was this legendary Super Saiyan. Okay, so he was this legendary Super Saiyan, and he's supposed to be the legend, the actual true legend. Like every, I forgot what they said, I think 100 years or something like that, that there's this one Saiyan that has this enormous amount of power that he's nearly unstoppable. That was the original Dragon Ball Z Broly movie type, like what they were like doing with. And then now Dragon Ball Super, they still kind of they still have a little bit of aspects with that per se,
yeah.
But they kind of, in a sense, also went off from it too at the same time, if that makes sense. But anyways, Broly, he also has potential too, because throughout the fight he was learning, like what Vegeta says, he's learning as he fights, and he got this enormous power from base form, barely doing anything to Vegeta, to where he's challenging Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, a fusion between Goku and Vegeta. And you gotta think about it this. At the end of Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, Broly, the character, himself, he he got all this power. Well, Goku and Vegeta, they fought many opponents, they struggled and all that. Yeah, Broly, it was okay. I gotta admit, a little bit. It was a little bit of an ass pull to have him get that much power, to be on the level of Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. But if you think about it, though, he's stronger than Beerus. He is, like, without a doubt. Like, Goku says that, but okay, you guys could probably say, but you can go based off of what Goku says, because nobody's seeing Beerus' full power and all that. And I'm like, okay, but you gotta understand, there is a V-Jump article that also came out saying that Ultra Instinct Goku Phase 3, if you guys don't know what I mean by Phase 3, it's basically pretty much how many times he went into Ultra Instinct. So there's 3 phases before he went into the mastered form, which that doesn't make sense. Why do they call it mastered if he can't go into it again? Like, you know, they said at the end of Dragon Ball Super, the final episode, Goku says, oh, I don't know how to transform into that anymore. I can't transform into that. So it's like, why do they call it mastered? That literally makes no sense. Why they call it mastered? But,
so they can surprise us again later, more than likely.
Yeah, probably. But anyways, so going back to the whole V-Jump article, the V-Jump article did say Ultra Instinct Goku Phase 3, the 3rd time that he went to Ultra Instinct, he is on par with Beerus, full power. So with that being said, Goku went into Master Ultra Instinct, Jiren went full power. That means they both surpassed Beerus right then and there. And if anybody disagrees, look at the V-Jump article. It says it right there as well. The manga, you can't really go off base too much off the manga, because the manga does a little bit of different things than what the anime does. But yeah, so with that being said, all that boost, now we go into Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Goku got all that boost from the Tournament of Power and all that, and now he's much stronger than he was at the Tournament of Power. And then of course stacking Saiyan transformations on top of it, Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, God, Blue, etc, etc. Yeah, he didn't go into Master Ultra Instinct at all, or even Ultra Instinct Omen again. But still, this is a much more powerful Goku. Same thing with Vegeta. Even though Vegeta, I think in Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, that's when he surpassed Beerus. Because in the Tournament of Power, I would think he surpassed Beerus. Yeah, because he didn't get that much boost of power. He didn't fight as long as Goku did in Tournament of Power. Therefore, he's not as strong as Beerus. While Goku, he would have surpassed Beerus. So, with all that, I know there is a YouTuber that's called Seth the Programmer. He already done a video on that, which I disagree on what he says of that. That Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku in the Tournament of Power is stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta in Dragon Ball Super Broly, which I disagree on that. I think Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta is stronger than Master Ultra Instinct Goku. But Master Ultra Instinct Goku could. He has the potential to be as strong as Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. That I'm not disagreeing. But I'm just disagreeing, like, the power that they showed. Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta is stronger than Master Ultra Instinct Goku in Tournament of Power. So anyways, going full circle, Broly's stronger than Beerus because he went toe to toe with Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, which was a fusion between a stronger Goku than the Tournament of Power and a stronger Vegeta than his Tournament of Power counterpart, fused together, made Gogeta, and Gogeta went Super Saiyan Blue toe to toe with Broly.
We
And
are
that right
forgetting some important thing here, though, right?
What?
How do we know we've seen Beerus's final form?
Well, it's the V-Jump article. We're gonna going back to the whole V-Jump article. That is a credible source. The reason why is because that is the whatchamacallit, the editorial or whatever that's called. Yeah, for Dragon Ball Super. I don't know about Dragon Ball Z. I don't know about that, but for sure Dragon Ball Super. So if the V-Jump article is a credible source, like without a doubt. So
I have a theory as well, come to think of it, and that, while we're having theories here, when you was watching, I mean, I've seen the Broly movie as well, chat can agree or disagree with me on this one as well. Was I the only one when I was watching the Broly movie where I had brief moments where I was thinking, are they going to have some strange other version of Super Saiyan 4 that is like Broly's transformation or something?
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Well, when I watched the Broly movie the first time, I didn't think about that at all. But yeah, they are definitely making references to Super Saiyan 4. Definitely. And I don't know if they are gonna do like a similar transformation to like what Broly did.
It almost seemed like it was teasing at some point, because it was like, he's super powerful, but he's barely changing his appearance. I'm almost expecting some tiny little signs of Super Saiyan 4 to show up or something.
Yeah. But
I mean, just to clarify for anyone listening to the podcast, though, I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, I miss Super Saiyan 4. I'm just pointing out that some of the stuff on that looked like they were hinting at it. Like they might find some way of almost like sneaking GT back into the canon somehow.
yeah, which could be a possibility that they could do. Sneaking Super Saiyan 4 back in it by branching from Broly's Rage form, or whatever that form's called, which there was never a proper name for that transformation. It's like, it's weird. They're not giving the name for transformations anymore for like certain characters. Like for example, yeah, Broly's that form, that Rage form. A lot of people just call it Rage form, but that's not the proper name. That's only what the fans, us, gave Broly, that transformation. Same thing with Trunks' transformation. Now, I have a problem with this transformation, the name of it, not the transformation itself, just the name of it. That back in Black Goku arc, when Trunks got this new transformation, kind of out of nowhere in a sense, that he just got it, and he had Super Saiyan Blue aura within Super Saiyan aura. Now, they never gave Trunks that name or that transformation at all. Akira Toriyama, as I've known so far, from what I've known, he did not give an official name to that transformation at all. But you know who did give that name of that transformation a name? It was the people who work at Dragon Ball Heroes, the company that works on Dragon Ball Heroes, which I'm not sure if it's Bandai or not.
Yeah, that's one of the most popular things right now, isn't it?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Heroes, like the promotional anime as well as its games. Well, not so much as its games, just mostly its promotional anime. But so that company, again, I'm not sure if Bandai is working on Dragon Ball Heroes or not. I don't know. But I'm just going to say company for now. So that company gave that transformation that what Trunks unlocked in the Black Goku arc, Super Saiyan Rage Trunks. Is that an official name? No, of course not. Because it's a company. They gave it that name. So it's not an official name. But it's just a name that company gave, and everybody just went off of that. Now, the problem that I have with that name of the transformation is quite a few things, though. So I'm gonna go a little bit on a rant. a little bit. But the problem that I have is basically pretty much the name, Super Saiyan Rage. Why the hell do you give that transformation Super Saiyan Rage? One, that makes literally no sense at all. Oh, he's transforming based on anger. Okay. But look at the first Super Saiyan transformation. Goku transforming to Super Saiyan based on anger as well. Are you gonna call that Super Saiyan Rage as well? Why the hell would you call this Super Saiyan Rage, but not the first Super Saiyan transformation?
This is what happens when shows like this go on for a really long period of time, is you get continuity problems.
Yeah, and that makes no sense. Why would you call this Super Saiyan Rage? Why would that company go ahead and call it that? Is that a name for a placeholder? Until Akira Toriyama himself, the creator of Dragon Ball, finally gives an official name? Because so far, from what I've known so far, he did not give that name an official name for that transformation. So that's one problem that I have with it, is that it makes no sense. Why would you call it Super Saiyan Rage Trunks? Oh, because it's based on anger. Super Saiyan is based on anger as well. Hello? And then I would go into Broly's transformation. That one that he went
maybe
into.
Maybe they just thought Trunks hasn't been angry enough at all yet. Let's give him a thing.
Yeah. Which it just doesn't make no sense to me. Then the second thing is that, like, okay, the other problem that I have with the name, the second thing is that my main character, is named Rage. When he goes Super Saiyan, his name is Super Saiyan Rage.
Oh no! So if he had that transformation, it would be
Super Saiyan Rage, Super Saiyan Rage.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it's like
they took the idea for Super Saiyan Blue from the fans and Super Saiyan Red, and they're like, hell yeah. I patented that shit. They used my idea, and now they're using your idea.
Yeah, and I really do think, like, okay, this might be far-reaching, like really far-reaching. I really do, like, it might be, but I really do think they took quite a few ideas from me. Again, the name Super Saiyan Rage. My character has been around on the internet for quite a while. Back in 2014, that's when my character made an appearance. This was way before Dragon Ball Super. This was even way before Resurrection of F. This was only when Battle of Gods was announced. I don't think it was out yet. Maybe it was. I don't remember.
A demo of that. That was not fun.
What?
that game Battle of Gods. I played a demo of it. I got bored of it very quick. Because it didn't feel like a Dragon Ball Z game. It felt more like strategy, team-based stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I've seen the cover art for it, but I never actually really played it myself.
The front cover had the front cover had Super Saiyan God and Beerus on the front. I remember.
Yeah. So at that time period, it was only Battle of Gods, the movie. Okay, the movie. It was either out or they announced it that they were making it. Yeah, it was simpler times. But anyways, my character has been on the internet since 2014. So it's been there for 5 years already. At this point, 5 years. But I did not change his name. His name stayed Rage. Well, his original name was Rage 1005. That's why in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, you always see Rage 1005 if you see my character in the lobby, because that was his original name. But then I recently changed it. It was at 2016. Yeah, 2016. At the end of 2016, I decided to change it to just Rage, because having numbers in his name really made no sense at all. So it didn't. So his name is just Rage, not Rage 1005.
To be fair, numbers in your name is normally a bad idea unless your character's a robot.
Yeah, and my character is not a robot at all.
Or a clone or something like that, but...
Yeah, so... That's why I removed the numbers from his name. But in Xenoverse 2, you can't change the characters' names at all. It's stuck with that name. So just keep it there. But anyways, regardless, his name was still Rage. He still had the name, the word Rage in it, regardless if it has numbers or not. So I kind of think just a little bit, but at the same time, I kind of doubted myself a little bit. But I did have a transformation before Super Saiyan Blue. Before Super Saiyan Blue was even a goddamn thing. Before it was even a thing.
Bro, if you oh my god, don't get me started on Super Saiyan Blue, right? If you go back to my very first Xenoverse video I did, what color is Tapado's hair on Xenoverse 1?
Blue.
Yep. And then Xenoverse 2 came out, and this thing happened a bit later, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure, why not?
So you changed your character's hair because Super Saiyan Blue was a thing now?
That's part of the reason, yeah.
Huh. Well, anyways, so before... Okay, so going back to my character. Before Super Saiyan Blue was even a goddamn thing, before they even announced it at all, literally, again, it was just Super Saiyan God, that's it. There was no Super Saiyan Blue, there was no nothing like that at all. My character, Rage, he had a transformation that was similar to Super Saiyan Blue. Before Super Saiyan Blue was even a thing.
Yep.
He had blue hair. And I didn't call it Super Saiyan Blue. I called it... I forgot what I called it, to be honest.
You called it a Super Sandwich.
Imagine if I called it Super Saiyan Sandwich. But no, I did not call it that. I called it something else. But then once Super Saiyan Blue is a thing, then I'm like, oh crap, okay, well... Then I will change that transformation. And I'll just change it, okay, to a transformation that's above Super Saiyan Blue. So I went ahead and changed that transformation that I created before Super Saiyan Blue was even a thing. And then I just called it Beyond Super Saiyan Blue. Before Blue Evolution was even a thing. And now Blue Evolution is a thing. And I'm just like... Okay. Exactly. So I'm like... I made a transformation before Super Saiyan Blue was a thing. The Dragon Ball Super came out. Well, not Dragon Ball Super, but Resurrection of F came out. Who's Super Saiyan Blue? Now I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Alright. Change the transformation to be called Beyond Super Saiyan Blue. And I did this then in Dragon Ball Super. Okay, there it is, Blue Evolution. And I'm just like... Bruh. I'm really thinking... They might be taking notes of the ideas that I have. But at the same time, I doubted myself and be like, no, I might be just a really small fry, just a really tiny fish in the big giant sea.
This is the thing with something like Dragon Ball. This is one of the other strange things that can happen with something like Dragon Ball, is because it's been around so long, the fan base is gigantic, so you have these situations where, like, you can get ideas from the fandom, or you could even hire them, and they might have been like a fan of whatever your product is from like when they were a kid, and they'd be like, "It's a dream come true!" Ah! In fact, I can give you a perfect example, right? Are you familiar by someone with the name Tyson Hess?
No, I don't think so.
Tyson Hess. You can Google this as well, by the way. People who are on the podcast. Tyson Hess is a 2D animator who he also does like art and everything as well, and he started off like messing around with things like Adobe Flash, doing parody videos and all. Oh no, sorry, actually no, he didn't use Flash. Sorry, he just like doing drawing in general. Sometimes he'd do parody drawings and stuff like that. He then got into animation a bit later, but he did this one little comic book which was mocking Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I see that on Twitter. Okay, I know what you mean.
And later in his life, He then went for a job looking for work. He went to Sega. They thought his comic was funny, so they hired him. He's now probably one of the most important people in Sega America because he understands the brand a lot more than a lot of them do. He was one of the most important people who was involved with Sonic Mania, the 2D Sonic animation shorts, and that redesign of Sonic. He basically phoned Universal Studios being like, you guys need to change this. I work for Sega. I can help you with this.
Huh.
It's super weird, my dude. It's like if something's been around for long enough, your fans can have like better ideas than you do, and you can rip them off. And if you're sneaky about it, you can actually get away with it. Or you can have other situations like with Tyson Hess, where it's like, would you like a job? And they're like, yeah, please.
Wow. Well. Yeah, like I've seen that on Twitter. So about that, but
God only knows what ideas they've got from the Dragon Ball Z community for like stuff going forward. Though probably tons of stuff. But that's how fandoms go. It's just like once things get really popular, the ideas that can happen just kind of explode.
yeah, like I've been hesitant. Like, okay, I've been only telling my character's lore backstory in my live streams on Twitch. Not really so much in any YouTube videos at all. But I've been kind of hesitant a little bit telling people what type of transformations I've created for my characters. Because, like, yeah, I've just been hesitant because I don't know if
sometimes as
they're
well
gonna
with
take it or
fan
not.
stuff, it can be a bit. Sometimes with fan stuff as well, it can get a bit cringe. Sometimes if you're not careful as well, is the other issue. And no doubt you're probably worried about that too.
It's not so much about cringe in a sense. It's just people taking my idea. If I actually say it, people might take my idea.
I see.
Yeah, because from
there is that. That can happen.
Yeah. Especially this. Nobody back in 2014, from what I've seen in the Dragon Ball fan base, and I've actually searched a lot, like everywhere. Nobody in the Dragon Ball fan base named their character Rage. From what I've seen back in 2014, nobody has. Nobody has named their character Rage at all. So I thought, okay. Look, I mean, I created the name Rage back in 2009. And he basically stuck with that name. Well, of course it was Rage 2005, obviously, from what I said before. But I mean, it still had the name Rage in it. Nobody, from what I've seen in the Dragon Ball community, ever named their character Rage at all. So, I'm thinking, from my point of view, I was the first one that named the character Rage. Then all of a sudden, years later, people started to name their characters Rage, whether it be a saying or not. They started naming their characters Rage.
You just gave me a horrible idea. Have you ever heard of that thing on Google where you search your name the hedgehog or your name the fox and stuff like that?
Oh God, I think I did that one time.
Have we reached the stage with the Dragon Ball Z fandom where you can type in a name and then the saying, and will it show up? Oh no!
Oh no! Don't do that. Like, it was kind of like when I put my name. I'm not saying my name that you see online, but my actual name. I put my actual name.
I'm gonna put my real life name in Google right now.
Oh God. But anyways, I did this back in 2014 as well, because I was a little bit part of the Sonic fan base. Just a little bit. But anyways, so I was curious. I'm like, oh,
It
Wait,
works. It works.
Oh,
Okay, okay. I'll admit it's not. I'll admit it's not Sonic recolor levels of cringe, but you can put. I think we might be at a stage, folks, where you can put in a name and then the Saiyan, and it will come up.
bruh.
It's not as bad as the Sonic fandom though. I'm not seeing lots of fan characters, but I am seeing things like pictures of Goku followed by the Saiyan.
Oh my god. Goku recolors. Or Vegeta recolors.
No, they're not even recolors. They're just like pictures of Go. Wait. Oh,
What?
oh no! I just remembered something else.
Wait, what?
Have you seen? We're gonna have to go back to Xenoverse for a second for this, folks.
Okay.
Have you seen when you? Have you ever seen when you're walking around Canton City in Xenoverse and you'll see this character with this amazing as hell name, and then you look at him, and it's just Goku.
Oh yeah.
That's what this is. That is what this is on Google.
Bruh.
It's oh no! What have I discovered?
Oh my god. I think the Dragon Ball fan base actually has reached that levels then.
Oh no!
Oh. But, anyways, going back to what I'm saying, is that I'm really thinking, that's why I'm hesitant to say my ideas. Because I really do think that people basically took my character's name, remove 1005, and then just named their character that. Whether it be sane or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've just seen that. Even a Japanese name, because rage in Japanese is Ikari. Ikari. If you can't roll your R's, it's Ikari. But yeah, and I've seen, even in Xenoverse 2, I see some people name their characters Rage, and I'm like, I'm saying in my point of view, okay, I might be wrong. People might have also named their characters Rage back in 2014, okay, but I'm just saying in my point of view, all right. In my point of view, I think I'm the first person to ever name the Dragon Ball character Rage, and then from there people took that idea from me and then started naming their characters Rage as well. And I really do think people took my idea, that name, and then just named their characters that. And I'm just like, bruh. I'm not saying, oh, I own the name Rage to my character. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that people got that name from me. That's what I'm just saying.
It's not impossible.
Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of hesitant to saying like what transformations I made up for my characters, and also what I named some of my characters, because some of the characters I gave them like some of them are just stupid names I gave them. The even Pyrohitten laughed as well.
Bob the Saiyan, picture of Goku.
Oh, what about bro, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody actually made a Michael Jordan Saiyan.
Obama the Saiyan, picture of Goku.
Oh my god. But anyways, alright, so moving on to the next topic. Alright, so even though we kind of said this a little bit,
Thomas the Tank Engine, picture of Goku. Sorry.
imagine if that was an actual emote. Just have Thomas. Oh my god, bruh. But anyways, alright, so our thoughts on Xenoverse 3. Like, what will Xenoverse 3 be like?
For the love of God, give us more long hairstyles. The only long hairstyle I've seen that looked good is Yamcha's.
Yes, please. Because
So now everything else, everything else is like, oh, I want to have a long hair character, but I only really have the Yamcha hair to choose from, and then everyone's like, oh, hi Yamcha recolor, and it's just like,
exactly, because there is this one character. I'm not gonna say what her name is, but Pyro Hinton knows, because the only ideas that I really share about my characters is Pyro Hinton. That's really it. Any type of transformation that I come up with for my characters, names, backstories, all that, I'll tell that to Pyro Hinton, because Pyro Hinton is the only, like, I mean, it's because me and Pyro Hinton, we both are creating, in a sense, our own universe for our characters, and our characters are just so intertwined with each other that we can't really separate them anymore. Like, we cross over them so much to the point that we can't really make solo stories about them unless if it's from way back in the past before our characters ever meet. But I'm saying for like future stories, we really can't without referencing one of our characters and all that. And so that's why I share ideas with Power Hinton, and I do share some ideas with you too, Skay. But anyways, going back to the whole Yamcha hair. There's this one character that I really want to create. She's a female as well. I've said this in my live stream though, but I'm not gonna say this here though. But she has long hair, but I don't want it to be a Yamcha hair though. I want it to
Yamcha
be
hair's
other hair.
like, oh hi Yamcha recolor, and it's like, rah.
Yeah, I don't want people to say that for that character. And I'm just like, Wee!
I mean, I'm trying to remember all the hairstyles in Xenoverse 2 off the top of my head, and as far as I recall, the two long-haired ones was like what? One of them was Yamcha hair, and there's another one which your character has, which is the hairband, which is the hair that Vegeta's daughter has. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, back in GT, Dragon Ball GT, it was Bola.
Yeah, those are the only two long-haired hairstyles I can remember off the top of my head that look half decent.
Yeah, and I chose that one, the one with the headband.
We need more long hairs, guys.
Yes, please. Add long hairs to Xenoverse 3. Also, people already said this so many times, even I did too in my videos, that add movable Saiyan tails. Please, in Xenoverse 3.
Oh yeah, God, that as well. There's so many mods for like basic things in Xenoverse which should be there that the mods added.
Yeah, it's like people that are not working at Bandai or Dimps. They're just modders that they just do this on their free time. They were able to make movable Saiyan tails. Bandai, Dimps, why couldn't you guys? I mean, I don't think they're watching this live stream, but I'm addressing it to them. How come you guys couldn't do that, but modders can? And they're just people that just do that free time. Like,
it does feel a bit like it's very strange because it's like there's almost this feeling of crap. What am I trying to? Sorry, my brain broke. Crap. Sorry. Say what you said again.
Brain fart. Okay. That modders free time. They were able to do movable tails, while Bandai Dimps they can't do that. They just basically added a stick.
It's almost like Bandai Namco completely underestimated how popular the game was going to be. Even though they'd been hanging on to the brand for dear life, so they get exclusive rights to make Dragon Ball games. It's like they underestimated how much the fans want more stuff. So it's like, I don't feel like they're putting in 100% sometimes. Like when a game first comes out, it seems like they put in a lot more effort, sort of thing. But when it comes to the stuff like the DLC, it feels like they cut the corners a lot. And things like Saiyan Tails and stuff like that almost feels like an afterthought. Like they didn't even intend that to be there originally, you know?
Yeah. But, like, they could still do it for Xenoverse 2 for DLC 10, which is coming out, but I don't think that they're gonna do that because they're lazy. That's what I think they are. They're lazy. If any of you want to argue with me, go right ahead. But look at the stuff that modders did, and look at the stuff that Bandai and Dimps did. Movable tails. They added
I just
a
had
stick.
a
That's
terrible
one thing.
thought as well. I just had a really terrible thought of something that might happen.
Oh.
This terrible thought has just crossed my mind. I'm gonna have to give a quite strange example for this though, so bear with me. There is a series of games that you and people listening to the podcast may or may not have heard of before called Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, I heard of that before.
Now, I'm not going to bog you down with any ridiculous amount of details or anything like that. All you really need to know is Dynasty Warriors is the story of 3 different factions who were fighting over control of China, and the story is so old in like Chinese history we don't know what parts of it is like fact and fiction. And basically every game is kind of retelling that story with like all the famous battles that happen, being the different missions and all this sort of thing, right? But this what I'm about to say now is why I brought this up. There is like 14 versions of that game, my dude. 14 games.
Jesus.
All telling the same story. They started off on the PlayStation 2. We're now on, what, nearly PlayStation 5 at this point, and they're still making more of those games. And every time, they're basically retelling the same story.
Wow.
But it started off with less characters, and now we have way more characters in those games and stuff like that. However, one thing I did notice is you might have like a couple of games done in the same engine, and then they might change to another engine for the next game, which might have a few new features and stuff like that. But a consequence of that would be things like, say in the previous game you had like, I don't know, I'm guessing this, I don't have exact numbers off the top of my head, so you're going to have to bear with me with this. Say they had like 50 characters in Dynasty Warriors 5. In Dynasty Warriors 6, you'd suddenly only have 20 because it's in a new engine, so they have to make everything new from scratch.
Also, they took out characters.
They take out characters because they have to remake them, and sometimes there was even situations where they take out things like multiplayer because they didn't have a new multiplayer working yet.
And they added that later on, or
and then they add that again later on, like it was a new feature. That's something. Now I've just had the terrible thought that they could, if Xenoverse went on for long enough, they could do that. We could end up with a new engine that the game's made in, but then lose a ton of features as a result of that.
And a ton of characters too.
We could end up with a Xenoverse 3 that plays more like Xenoverse 1 in terms of the in terms of the content.
Oh Jesus, no.
That's a pretty nasty scenario, but it's not impossible. It could happen. I don't want it to happen, but these are things we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I do not want that to happen either. Jesus, having it play like Xenoverse 1, no. Like, Xenoverse 2 has over 80 characters. They're almost at the brink of 100 characters at this point. And now suddenly, taking all those characters away and only have like, what did Xenoverse 1 had? Only like 40? So half of what Xenoverse 2 has now.
It could happen.
Just like, Jesus. Well,
I don't want it to happen, but these are all possibilities. Which, by the way, for anyone curious, I've stopped playing Dynasty Warriors games. I started on Dynasty Warriors 3, I went up to Dynasty Warriors 8, and now I've stopped playing them again because they changed the engine, and then a ton of features were lost, and everything ran like crap, and I'm just like, I'm done. I played more than enough of these games. I don't need to play another one.
Damn. But it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but when Smash Ultimate was announced and when they showed gameplay and all that, people were saying Smash Ultimate was just a port. It's just Smash 4.4.5.
Oh, it is. That is, but they were smart. That game is basically a port because
Because they use the same engine.
That's a completely. It is the same engine. This is a slightly different issue because the thing with most games on the Switch. Smash Ultimate's a prime example. A lot of games on the Switch were just moved over from the Wii U because it didn't sell very well. I'm just going to go ahead and say it because that's basically what happens.
Yeah, because the Wii U didn't sell well at all.
Because it didn't sell well, any games that they thought, yeah, this could make a lot of money, they've just kind of converted into Switch.
Yeah,
Interestingly, they haven't done that with Super Mario 3D World yet, though. I guess they didn't like that one.
No, maybe, but it's like, yeah, like Super Mario Maker. They made Super Mario Maker 2 and they brought it over to the Switch, but left the first one to the Wii U. I mean, at the same time, I don't know if Smash Ultimate is... You could make both arguments, saying that it's a completely new game, but it's also a port of it.
In my honest opinion, based on everything I've seen, the two games are so similar that it just feels like updates to the original game. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes sequels can be like that, because this is the confusing thing about game design. Sometimes a sequel can just be a bunch of updates. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's down to consumers to decide, is this a big enough difference between this game and the previous game? I mean, it's something. I mean, going back to Dynasty Warriors, that's a thing that got criticised for that as well. I'll give you a quick run-off, right? We had Dynasty Warriors 2, Dynasty Warriors 3, Dynasty Warriors 4, Dynasty Warriors... Oh no, wait, sorry, start again, I missed one. We had Dynasty Warriors 2, Dynasty Warriors 3, Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends, Dynasty Warriors 4, Dynasty Warriors 4 Extreme Legends, Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires, Dynasty Warriors 5, Dynasty Warriors 5 Extreme Legends, Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
It's like, you sometimes have to decide as consumers, is this big enough a difference between this game and the other game that it's worth this price tag sometimes?
Yeah, and like when it comes to Smash, I think Smash Ultimate is worth that much money, even though they did take out
the amount of new
one or two features
they added is like, yeah, the amount of new stuff they added, I think is worth it. Plus the fact that, oh man, plus the fact that like. Plus the fact that Smash is in a really strange position because it's like you would never see that many different characters in a game together, which is one of the reasons why it's so similar to the previous game, because that's one of the big selling points. You need those characters there. If it's too different from the previous game, it's like you lost all these characters. I mean, that's one of the selling points of this game. Everyone is here.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone is here, and it's also what Sakurai said in one of the Nintendo Directs, that he's trying to bring as many new worlds as possible into Smash Ultimate.
Yep.
Which, that's why he says we're gonna have more DLC characters. So, yeah, but to me, I think Smash Ultimate, I mean, yes, it's kind of similar to Smash 4 on the Wii U, but at the same time, it's just different, though. Like the whole mechanics and whatnot to it.
They patched some of the characters to handle differently, and yeah.
And they nerfed some characters.
Is Bayonetta still top tier? I hope not.
No, they nerfed her to the ground. She's not top tier anymore. The ones that are top tier is
Joker and
Joker.
Yeah, that's them not testing the DLC properly, but that's a completely separate topic. Oh, burn.
Yeah, the DLC characters are kind of
I mean,
something else.
I'm only gonna briefly address this, but I have heard rumors that some companies, when they add DLC to their games now, they deliberately make characters overpowered to make them more attractive to buy, and then they'll nerf them later. I don't know how true that is, but it's food for thought. Anyway,
I mean, that could be. I mean, in a sense, that could also be a way to balance characters, like, well. Like, you could just get up.
It depends on how you do it, really and honestly.
Yeah, like, if you make this character, like, so overpowered, like. Ridley was. Because his down B move, where he stabs you with his tail. Back when they first showcased Ridley, literally if you fully charge that move and he hits you with it, you literally get deleted. Your character gets deleted. Explode. If you get hit by it. Now that doesn't happen anymore. But back when they first showed Ridley, that happened. Which that move was overpowered.
Like, nerf please, and Nintendo was like, we're sorry.
Yeah, and then also, there was another character that was kind of overpowered, but I don't remember who else besides just Ridley's down B. Like, Ridley as a character himself, he's alright. He's alright. It's just his down B was the only problem though when you fully charge it. Well, I mean, I guess you could say K Roll, he was kind of overpowered, quote unquote, because his is a neutral B where he just shoots out a cannon and sucks you in. That lasted way longer than it does now. They nerfed that. They nerfed how long that could go for. As well as they removed some, if I remember correctly, I think some hitboxes that before you couldn't really meteor K Rool when he does his recovery, his up B, because he has a hitbox there where it could hit you, which even to this day it still has it, but now you could meteor him, unlike before where you can't.
Yeah.
And then what else? Those are the ones that I remember. I don't remember what. Oh yeah. Also, Ike and Crom. Crom got more nerfs than what Ike had, but basically they nerfed their meter range whenever they do their recovery, their up B, since their up B is like very similar. Where at the beginning, I even done this to some people when I played against them online, and it was kind of funny. But when I did the up B, Ike's up B to them, they were like not on the edge of the map, on the stage per se, but when I got them with the up B, I drift Ike just very slightly to the left, and they get dragged down instantly and die, while I was still able to survive that by guarding the ledge. But now they nerfed that range, so now when that character stands there and when you try to do an LP, they just get hit back down on the stage, not off the stage anymore. You can't do that anymore unless if they're literally off the stage with you and you catch them with it. Then okay, then they go down with you. But other than that, you can't do that anymore when they're on the stage. Also, they also nerfed this to where I think it was only Crom that they nerfed. I don't think they nerfed Ike. I haven't tried it yet because I haven't played Smash Ultimate for a few months already. But before, when you're off stage with Ike and with this other character, and when you do up B on them and then drag them down with you, they die first and then you die next. But with Crom's case, I don't know about Ike. I don't know if they did this to Ike because again, they did more nerfs to Crom than Ike. But with Crom, before he could do the same thing where the opponent dies first, then you die next. But now, if you try to do that, Crom dies first, and then the opponent dies next. Which is like, that's a big oof there. But again, I don't know. Same thing with, same thing with Ganondorf, where back in Smash 4, if you do his side B, the choke move, and drag people down off the stage, the opponent dies first, and then Ganondorf. But now in Smash Ultimate, if we try to do that, Ganondorf dies first. Which, that's another big oof. But that's like another change with Smash Ultimate. But anyways, enough about Smash Ultimate. So now let's go on to our last 3 topics. Which the live stream has been going on for a while, so...
Oh we're gonna have to speed run through these last ones, are we?
Yeah. A little bit. So anyways, okay, so the next topic is a big one right here. The state of YouTube. What's happening with YouTube and what's going to happen with YouTube in the long run. So
right, we had this conversation off the podcast a bit, so I'm going to try and keep this brief. We should have really recorded it and we didn't, but anyway. There's a lot... The thing that really annoys me, that I'm pretty sure Rage agrees with me on, with the whole thing of anytime a big change happens to YouTube at this point, there's a lot of anger, a lot of panic, and a lot of channels that report on it, but they don't do all the information. And their videos can normally be summed up as, "Hi guys, it's your boy me again, here with today's news. Here's a video about YouTube being crap again. Aren't they a bunch of crap, everybody? We should do something about YouTube so we don't have to do some..." No, sorry, let me start again. "Hey guys, YouTube did something crap again. Aren't YouTube terrible? They're so bad. So I don't know what we can do about this. By the way, like, comment, support, subscribe."
yeah, and people, this annoys me because I watch these few not every okay, I'm stumbling on my words a little bit, but I watched a few channels that actually do report on this. Not enough people actually report what's going on with YouTube. Literally not enough. There's only very, very few. And when
there's very few people who do their own research and come to their own conclusions. A lot of people are almost... I'm not going to call out individual people, but there are a lot of people with news like this who they will literally just like parrot whatever they see. Not even like maybe understanding fully what's going on. They'll just like maybe panic a bit and like just go from that really. Panic, repeat what they've seen just like a parrot and not really add anything to the conversation. Just make people panic more.
Yeah, kind of. But from what I've seen, it's just like, okay, I made an update on my YouTube channel. I only talked about it briefly, but it did show at least the screenshots of what's happening with YouTube. The whole FTC enforcing its rules on YouTube and YouTube changing its terms of service and whatnot. But anyways, these channels though, so far only 2 channels actually talked about the whole thing, not just okay. I'm a compare it to a circle, right? So the circle is the whole entire news, everything of what's happening with YouTube. The channels that I've seen that report it, most of them, I'm gonna say about 95% of them, only talks about half the circle, not the full entire circle. There's only 2 channels so far from what I've seen. When they report it, they report the full entire circle, everything, not just half of it, everything. Which it's like, why do channels do this? It's literally in the article.
For some reason, it's weird because for some reason a lot of channels seem to have decided that the way to get noticed is you have to take a side. Which, in the short term, yeah, you're right. In the short term, you will get attention by doing that. If you're strongly on one side, and then you phrase everything from that point of view of like, oh, this is awful and all this sort of thing. If you have someone who talks about like YouTube drama from a thing of like, here's the good, here's the bad, you're less likely to get clicks compared to someone who's like, You're all babies. YouTube's fine. Stop freaking the fuck out. Or the other extreme of that was my one swear word of the podcast, by the way.
I mean, you could swear as much as you want, so that you know the FTC does not see this as directed as kid friendly. Okay. So
well, we were gonna get to that, but yeah, typically with this sort of thing is you tend to get two camps as like, oh, nothing's wrong with YouTube, you're all freaking out over nothing, you bunch of degenerates, and you have the other situation of like, goodbye free speech, goodbye place to put our videos, goodbye our visibility on the internet, we're just going to be a bunch of nobodies who don't get to say or do anything because no one will be able to see what we're doing. Those are the two core things really when it comes to YouTube stuff, but what's actually happening here, which was what I was talking to Rage at great length about before this podcast, which we really should have recorded, was that there's a bunch of stuff going on all at once now, and one big part of it is the government is getting much more involved now with what happens on the internet. And the angle they're going with is it's very important we protect the children. So that has forced YouTube's hand to be in this situation of like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to make content on YouTube, you need to determine for us, is this suitable for children? If you tell us that it's not suitable for children, that saves us a ton of work because we don't have to check it as much. Whereas if you have listened to something that's safe for children, we need to check all of those, or at least as much as we possibly can, to make sure there's nothing messed up, like manipulating kids, or controversial topics, or pedophiles talking in the comments, which is a big problem that YouTube has had actually with like family-friendly stuff, especially with stuff actually with kids in videos. They said some messed up shit in the comments. This is more to tackle that, but this is like a double-edged thing. On the one hand, this is YouTube replying to the government saying you need to protect the kids, but on the other hand, this is also giving YouTube new ways to be like, yeah, we don't like what you're doing, so we're going to shut you down, but we're going to have all these different excuses that we can give for why we're shutting you down instead of the real reason.
They could do that, or they could basically be like the new terms of service that they're updating, which is your channel. As well. Yeah, that. Oh, if your channel's not commercially viable, we could just terminate your channel right then and there, and that right there could give YouTube an excuse to delete literally anybody off YouTube.
If YouTube ever decides, we're not at this stage yet. My advice to anyone who's freaking out about YouTube is you can't just rely on being just on YouTube. You need to be on another website at the same time, something like Twitch or Bitchute or DTube. I think you were saying you were using Rage, stuff like that. All you need to do is when you upload videos, make sure you're uploading that video somewhere else on the internet as well, because the current state of YouTube seems to be they might decide one day they're going to shut down your channel, especially if you're not really making them any money or that sort of thing. That's the thing people are scared of. Well, it comes down to two things. There's two things people are scared of right now. The first one is that one, which is, oh, YouTube's just going to shut down my channel overnight. To address that thing, first of all, they can't really do that. And the reason for that is because if they do that to too many people, that is going to create such a vacuum of people who feel like they don't have anywhere to go to express themselves and create things. They're going to go to somewhere else. And that vacuum of people is actually what's going to push the next YouTube to become the next YouTube, whatever that might be.
Yeah, like, who knows who's going to be the next YouTube? Some people are saying Bitchute. Some people are saying DTube. Some people are saying other alternative
Some people
platforms.
are saying Dailymotion, and there's other ones as well. And yeah, this is the thing. In 2019, going into 2020, you can't just be on one website. You've got to be in more than one place at once. And I know it's a headache. I hate it as well. I hate the fact that I have to be on multiple websites at the same time, and no matter how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times I tell people, I need you guys to be on different websites, not just this one website, they won't listen to that. But that's the current situation. You have to be on more than one website now. It's just the way things are. Even PewDiePie, he's on 2 websites now. Well, actually, technically 3. He's on, 4 I can think of. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and DLive. He does all his streams on DLive now, ever since he had that streamer drama, plus the fact I'm pretty sure they paid him money to do it. A bit like Ninja with going to Mixer. Only they did that with PewDiePie going to DLive, but anyway.
Yeah, so, and I do agree with that as well. I've been uploading my videos on Bitchute as well as DTube. Also, I've been live streaming on Twitch as well. So all of our links, yes, a plug-in, but all of our links will be in the description. But
that's another. I don't want to freak you out, because you're already kind of stressed out with a bunch of this stuff already, but I heard a rumor.
Oh boy.
YouTube doesn't like... I know, more bad news, right? I heard a rumor that YouTube doesn't like you to put links in your description that don't go to YouTube. I don't know how true that is, but the workaround for that seems to be that people are now putting their links in a pinned comment on the video.
Oh, I've heard of that, but I heard of that back in somewhere in 2018, last year. That's what I heard about on YouTube.
I don't know how true that is. This is the problem, though, because YouTube doesn't tell it. This is part of the problem, because YouTube doesn't tell us a lot of things. People panic, rumors spread, and we have to try and connect the dots ourselves and try and figure out what's true and what's not true sometimes.
Which is, I don't know why YouTube keeps it so vague, first of all. I don't know why. But hopefully there's a video...
There's several reasons for that, some of which I'm not sure YouTube will approve of me talking about. They're always watching. Anyway, go ahead.
But, like, I really do hope there's a video sharing platform that actually tells the creators, us, hey, at the very least, when the algorithm is changing. YouTube, how many times did YouTube tell us the algorithm is changing? Only once. And you want to know when that is? Is when this change is going to happen in the year 2020.
Not only that, sometimes they'll make changes to YouTube and not tell anybody, and then they'll explain to everyone later what they did, even though stuff has already happened. That can happen sometimes as well. But this is why YouTube is such a headache to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just like, I really hope there's a video sharing platform out there. Yes, again, we are aware there's other alternatives like Bitchute, DTube, and all that. But from what I've seen so far, they like Bitchute. From what I've seen, I don't think they really changed their algorithm really at all from when they first started. But well, what do you think? Since you've been on Bitchute longer than I have, did they ever change the algorithm at all, or the website at all?
The thing with Bitchute is they've changed the layout a little bit, but they've not really talked about algorithms at all, if I'm perfectly honest.
Huh.
They've not really mentioned algorithms even once. Bitchute, this is what I don't like about Bitchute, is it seems like they're always pushing politics videos and crapping on how terrible YouTube is, and it's just like, well, yeah, okay, but what are you doing, you know?
Exactly. It's like, Bitchute, if you, the people working on Bitchute, if you're watching this, because I mean there's a small chance, because they also go and watch other creators' videos as well, or at least acknowledge it, that it's there. They actually do acknowledge, because they do retweet. But like, you gotta show other stuff, like retweet other things on your Twitter besides politics or shitting on YouTube, like, because that right there is just giving off that, okay, you only care about politics, or you only care about people shitting on YouTube, and that's it. Not really any other stuff.
Who else does that as well? You know who else the other person is? No, sorry, let me start again. You know who else craps on other people and doesn't actually say what they're doing that's better? People in politics. Vote for me because this person's done this, and this, and it's like, well, okay, what are you doing then? It's kind of the same thing, in a way.
Yeah, and it's like, but Bitchute still has an opportunity to change whenever. So,
the one thing in Bitchute's favour is it's incredibly hard to shut it down. The way they've set things up is incredibly hard to shut it down, so they have a long time to evolve and improve.
Yeah, because they use peer-to-peer technology and all that such. So it's gonna be hard to shut them down. But, like, Bitchute, if you are acknowledging this at all, or anybody that works in Bitchute, if you guys are acknowledging this, whether you're watching like the full raw footage of the podcast or just watching a clip of it, retweet on Twitter, not just politics, not just people shitting on YouTube, but other stuff like gaming and all that. Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, maybe give the gamers somewhere to go. That might be a good idea. You know?
Yeah, like, okay, yes, I've seen Bitchute only retweet 1 or 2 people, like doing a gameplay video of sorts. That's it. But 1 or 2 is not enough. You gotta constantly keep doing that, just like how you're doing that for your political videos as well as people shitting on YouTube. You gotta keep doing that so that way you could show, hey, we're not just all about politics. Hey, we're not just all about is shitting on YouTube all this time. We're also all about, hey, gamers, animation, talking about anime, all that such. Like, just show that on Twitter by retweeting other people doing gameplay videos or making animations and whatnot. Then that will, in turn, people will see your website and be like, hey, they're also all about this and this and that. They're not just all about politics. They're not just all about shitting on YouTube. They're also all about gaming videos and all that. Hey, I want to make gaming videos. Bitchute seems like a good place. Okay, let me go ahead and make gaming videos. See, right there, if you do that in a long run, that will help. In the long run.
That's right. But going back to YouTube for now, though, the whole everyone's scared about the whole your channel's not commercially viable thing. The other thing they're scared about is the money fine thing. And the easiest way to explain that is basically YouTube has created like a 2-tier system. I mean, to be honest, there's probably more than 2 tiers, but just for the sake of explaining, I'm going to keep this simple. There's going to be 2 new tiers of videos now. There's going to be kid-friendly and everything else. If you own a YouTube channel, you have probably seen this thing where they ask you need to decide what this channel is. So, and I don't remember what the third option is, but I remember 2 of the options were my channel is not for kids, and there was another option where it says
your channel is for kids.
I guess there's an option that says, I mean, I'll go by what you said there, I guess. I'm assuming that the third one is my channel is for kids, another one which says my channel is not for kids, and there's a third one which says I will manually check every video I post myself. which, if you've been around for a while, that's a bit insane.
That's going to take a long time.
Here's the thing, though. If you are specifically targeting kids for your videos, mark your channel as for kids. But just bear in mind that if you're doing that, that is what they're monitoring the hell out of. And if you mess that up, that is what is going to get you the money fine. If you list yourself as not for kids, you put yourself out of the firing line. All those threats of like money suing things, that is not going to happen to you. And say, for example, you do anime. Anime is not just for kids, my dude. Most anime is for teens. I know there's a lot of boomers who think anything that's animated is for children, but that's not the case. Most of it's teen and up. And that doesn't fall under the category that they're doing of, is this safe for kids? The policies could change in the future, but this is the best way to handle it right now, is unless you're making content specifically for children, list your channel as not for kids. It's the easiest way out right now. It does mean that the way the YouTube algorithm works means you'll be less likely to be recommended in videos and stuff like that, and that's an unfortunate side effect of this whole situation that they're trying to deal with because of the government pressure that you're in YouTube and everything. But that's the easiest way to protect yourself from getting sued at this point. Is just to say your channel is not for children. It's not to say that everything on your channel is for adults. It's just the fact that think of the children, you know?
Yeah, and what they mean by children is they mean people who are younger than 13 years old. That's what they mean. Mm-hmm. So, like, this podcast is not, because usually in my videos I try not to curse at all, but I've been cursing in this podcast purposely so that once I mark it as not for kids, the FTC could go in there and be like, hey, it's not marked for kids because I say shit, fuck, and all that such.
This is just a situation that YouTube's been put into now, where they have to create this system of, look, you need to define that your stuff is not for kids. It's a bit of an extreme example, but it's a bit like parents getting angry that their kid's been disturbed when they've just watched a rated 18 movie. This is the situation right now, right? They want you to list your stuff, the age kind of that you think it's for, and if it's not for kids, list it as such, because that's where everything's going right now. Is we've got to protect the children. If we don't protect the children, some people are going to get in trouble. And it's probably going to be the people on YouTube making the videos who are not listing their stuff as not safe for kids, you know? But yeah, like, out of the three options, I would say right now, unless you're making videos for kids, mark yourself as my videos are not for kids. It's the safest thing to do right now.
Yeah, like, again, like it's like in this podcast, it's not for kids. It's not. Okay, so the FTC in the future, if you see this podcast, it's not for kids. Okay, because if you're really being all thing for the kids, then they should not know the word shit. They should not know the word fuck. They should not know the word bitch or anything like that. Okay. Or asshole or anything like that. There are any other cuss words in here. But this podcast is not meant for kids at all whatsoever. Okay. Like, even on my YouTube channel, it's not meant for kids. The audience that I'm targeting on my YouTube channel, okay, is, I've said this to Power Hinton and I've said this to other people before, and I think I've said this to you too, Skay, that my channel is not meant for kids. It's meant for people who are 16 years old and older. And here in the US, that's really close to rated M for game. So I guess you could say my content, in a sense, is, I guess, borderline. I'd say my channel. I'm not saying here on the podcast. I'm saying on my individual YouTube channel, it's pretty much borderline rated M. If you're really going by the ESRB rating. So, yeah. So again, this podcast is not meant for kids at all whatsoever. This is mostly, I think, mature audiences at this point. Did I mention
it's not for kids? I don't think we made that clear enough yet.
Yeah, like, if, like, YouTubers, you will start seeing people
really
will say
it's
that
not for
as
kids.
well. Yeah, like, you will start seeing YouTubers will say that. Not maybe as much as I say it in this podcast, but they will say this at least once. For kids. Exactly. So they will probably at least say that once in their videos. If not, then they're just kind of a disclaimer where you could just read that saying, "Oh yeah, this is not meant for kids at all," or they will start making mature content like saying again cuss words like bitch, fuck, asshole, and etc. etc. So yeah, your content creators, you're gonna start seeing them do that if they're gonna stay here on YouTube though. If they're gonna stay here, then you're gonna start hear them cuss and all that. And don't complain to them that you hear them say that, because they kind of have to say that so that the FTC, once they look at their video, the FTC is like, hey, okay, it's not for kids because they're cussing like a bunch of times, and they also said in the beginning of the video, or they made a disclaimer saying, oh yeah, this is not meant for kids. So you're gonna start seeing YouTubers do that. But on Bitchute and DTube, that's another story. That's like Bitchute. That I like their platform a little bit more than DTube. Reason why is because Bitchute already has the system implemented somewhat similar to YouTube, where you can mark your content as all for people who are 16 years old and older, or mark your content as what is the other two? I forgot what the other two is. But
Daily Motion.
No, I'm saying Bitchute, like they have that built in to the system. But yeah, well, DTube, it does not have that at all, which I really do recommend. DTube, the people who is working on that website, if you're watching this right now, I do recommend you guys to implement that as well. Implement like a whole, okay, is your channel this, and this, so that way once the FTC hits you as well, because I'm pretty sure the FTC they're just hitting YouTube as a starting point, and then from there they're gonna just expand from other websites. So make sure you have that built in for the future, and this is for other video sharing platforms as well. That yeah, as well. That make sure you have that built in as well, so that way once the FTC comes in, you could be like, hey, we already have this built in. You could go ahead and try to enforce your rules if you want, but we already have these rules in place already. And so that way content creators on your platform don't have to worry as much as here on YouTube, because YouTube does not have that built in, because they never had to worry about this in the first place up until now. So that's like a tip right there for other video sharing platforms as well as DTube as well.
How many more topics did we have to do?
Okay, so that kind of went on to... Okay, so two more.
I just realized, because I think we've been going for like 2 hours, my dude. You should probably save this material for another one.
Okay, well, so let's briefly say one more thing, one more topic, alright? So, thoughts on live streaming platforms. That's the last topic.
Wait, thoughts on what platforms?
Thoughts on live streaming platforms. Like, what do we think about... Streaming. Yeah, at the moment, right now. You know, since Mixer is making contracts with...
I still feel like Twitch is king, but Mixer and DLive are gaining ground. More so Mixer than anybody, because Mixer seem to be like really trying to get like big talent onto their site, which is a good idea in the short term, but in the long term you've got to be cultivating new people as well, you know? They only seem interested in people who've already made it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just like they're only giving off their platforms that they only care about people who made it, and that's it. They don't care about the little guys, the people who are upcoming.
I mean, all my other thoughts about live streaming are things more in general, really. Like, honestly, I don't really like live streaming that much. but it's been an interesting thing for me because I mean I'm trying to think what to say here without getting too personal. Basically, I've never been about me as a person, like selling myself on the internet. I always try to be more about what I'm making is important, not me as a person.
Yeah.
And yet, more and more, no matter where I turn, there seems to be this more a thing of like, but I don't care about that. I want to know about you. And this is another thing as well. If anyone who watches my content on my streams knows, there's a bit of a running joke on my streams that I'm a bit of a tsundere. So it's like, no, stay away. And that can have like a kind of adverse effect of people like, oh, okay, we won't hang around then. So that puts me in a weird situation because like live streaming is so strange because I mean there's people who make a living on YouTube who, when they go to live streaming, that's when they screw up. I mean, PewDiePie's huge screw up, the N-words. That was because he had no ability to edit anything. It was live. What happens. You're kind of screwed. That's it. And there's other people who, when they go on YouTube, are just like, "Hi, is it going, guys? It's your boy, and we're off to do this thing today." And oh my god, you guys, I can't even. You can't put on a performance like that in a live stream. Sooner or later, the performance is gonna crack, and they're gonna see the real you.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a strange thing. It's a bit of a strange thing if you're not used to it, and if you're not, I mean, very tiny side tangent. I've noticed people who thrive the most in this stuff are extroverts and people who have done like performing arts courses and stuff like that, because they're more used to this sort of thing, just being able to like go on for ages and ages and ages, putting on some kind of almost performance, the best version of themselves to the public, and because they have got no ability to edit it, so they've got to kind of hold everything together, you know.
Yeah.
But I personally don't like it. On the one hand, because it goes against this whole thing of like, no, people are learning about me, which is something I'm not used to. But also the thing of, I honestly feel like live streams waste a shit ton of everybody's time. Like, I've been editing the streams into videos, and I'll watch, say, a 5-hour stream, and there'll be maybe an hour's footage from that stream that's good, worth putting into a video. If I'm lucky, it's usually less than that. It just, excuse me, it just doesn't seem practical a lot of the time. But it's not going anywhere at the same time, just because there are people who make a living doing streaming. It does my brain in. There's people who seem to be doing exactly the same thing I'm doing, and yet they're having like way more success than me, and the only reason I can think of is because they've got there before me, they've built up a community, they're not afraid to have people know more about them, compared to me, maybe.
Yeah, but for me, when I live stream, usually it's like this. Okay. When I live stream, you will hear me in my live stream. I only live stream for 2 hours, by the way, usually. Unless if either I done a live stream. Yeah, today's an exception. So, usually I only live stream for 2 hours unless if I get busy or something, or I don't live stream because I get sick. I will not. Here's this one rule that I've placed on myself is, I will not, in under any circumstances, I will not live stream if I get sick. I will not, because then that would just be a pain in the ass.
It's certainly not the best version of yourself, and people be like, oh no.
Yeah. So that is why if I miss one of the days that I live stream on Twitch, then I'll either say it in my Discord server, or I'll just tweet it on Twitter why I missed one of those days, whether it be I'm busy or whether it be I'm sick. But so in my live streams, you'll hear me talk a lot, and I mean a lot, throughout the 2 hours. Like constantly. There will be little bits of break here and there, like probably 30 seconds to a minute of me being quiet. but most of the time it's just me constantly keep talking. The reason why is because, like, when it comes to live streams, when people don't do commentary in the live streams, I don't understand why they don't do commentary. Like, okay, they say hi in the chat. When you say hi, you expect the live streamer to say, "Oh, hello, welcome to the live stream," or something like that, right?
The only exception I can think of is like when people are like focusing really hard, like speed running or something like that. But other than that, I don't know why they would not be that keen on talking, other than confidence, really.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I understand. People are shy. Like, there's 2 Twitch streamers so far that I talked to that, one, don't do commentary at all. Because they told me that they're too shy. Which, okay, it's understandable. But, if you want to keep an audience, if you really want to hold an audience, you gotta talk. You gotta do commentary. Because, like me, like every other people, that's boring. Somebody that doesn't talk throughout the entire live stream, that is boring. You gotta at least have some sort of engagement with the chat. Unless if you're already big, then I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But, like, small live streamers like me and Skay, I just think that you just gotta talk. You just gotta interact with your chat. If you don't talk at all, then people will leave your live stream. Which, that also comes to the point that I kind of don't like, okay, I'm not throwing no shade at Burkle or anything like that. I'm not. I like Burkle. To be honest, I like Burkle more than Rhymestyle, Syriax, Super Saiyan Cabby, all of them. I don't know. I just like Burkle more than them. This is not throwing shade to him at all whatsoever. But I watched his videos back in the day. And okay, what I mean by I watched his videos back in the day, I really mean that I went to his channel and I just watched some of his videos in the past. And I kind of don't understand how he grew. Like, he said this in his videos, where I checked when his channel was made. His channel was made in 2016, but in that same year, he made 10,000 subscribers. But if you watch his previous videos, back in Xenoverse 1 days, he did not do commentary. All he did was edit the videos, put music, play the game, and that's it. He did not do any commentary. And that right there, like, to me, it kind of makes no sense. How can somebody that do no commentary whatsoever somehow get that much growth? To me, I don't really understand it at all. Yeah, the editing and such could be great and amazing and all that, but to me, I just find it boring. Even if you put music, I'll just find it boring if the person doesn't talk at all within the video or within the live stream.
It really depends on the content they're doing. Like, I mean, it's something. God, it's something I've been doing with my video editing a lot now. Is like, I've invested a lot of energy into being like, bruh, if I'm not talking, I need to find cool as fuck music for this thing. Which is an even bigger minefield now because copyright claims and all this. But if you know what to look for, there are still some good tunes out there which aren't going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, but I mean if you just, I'm only saying if you haven't talked at least once, and it's just nothing but just the gameplay and music itself, then that's boring.
You've got to fit something else in there. I mean, Blades of Might, my Xenoverse sensei, he hardly ever talks in his videos, but what he does instead is he kind of creates montages and he puts funny sounds in there, which is apparently enough. But hey, different techniques, you know.
Yeah, but again, I'm not throwing shade at Burko at all. I'm just saying I don't understand. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I don't understand. Alright, so I don't want anybody to go to Burko and say, hey, this guy talks shit to you. I did not talk shit. All I said is I don't understand. Alright, that's all I said.
I think Burko's okay. It's only when people say like, oh, Burko's trash and all this, that's when people are like, look at this clown.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just in case if somebody ever I don't know, one of Burkle's major fans ever watches this podcast, and then I don't know, like tweets at Burkle saying, "Hey, look at this dude." So,
but yeah, wrapping up though is wrapping up though. We really need a replacement to YouTube because YouTube is still important, but we just need something else out there to make YouTube realize they're not the only game in town. And live streaming, the whole scene is very strange now because it's just like you have to be able to sell yourself, not just what you're doing, which is something I personally was not ready for. It's kind of messed up my brain. I'm still getting my head around that. That's another thing as well. God, I don't want to make this too much about me. God damn it! But it's like sometimes I just like, but why do you care about me? I'm trash. What I'm doing is good. And people are like, no, you're great. And it's like, I don't know how to feel about it. I've been having to change the way I think about a lot of things, kind of rewiring my brain. But that's part of life, really. We learn things as we go along. It makes us change the way we think about things, and
yeah, and it's also because you have a lot more things interesting to say, and you know a lot more. Like this is from my perspective of why people want to know more about you, and not so much of what you're doing. Is that you just know a lot of things, and you have interesting things to say with every single topic. So
maybe that's why my friend keeps sending me politics videos, even though I'm like, dude, you've known me a long time. You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but anyways, guys, this is gonna be it for the podcast. It went a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that's all good. But anyways, guys, this is gonna be it for the podcast. Yes, this podcast will have some clips here and there of us talking about different types of topics.
Please put things in the comments, because the thing as well, right? Really good comments could be like good subjects to talk about in another podcast and stuff like that. It does make the difference.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, I'm somebody who listens to podcasts a lot while I'm doing other things, but the interaction definitely helps. It gives more material to talk about things other times. So
So anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the podcast. So the next episode, Pyro Hinton I'm gonna see an 80% chance he will be here for the third episode. I'm saying 80%, okay. There is that 20% chance that Pyro might not be on the third episode because he might be busy, because there's a lot of things that's been going on. Been going on with him.
Some personal problems, life stuff.
Yeah, which he did make some update videos on his YouTube channel, which again, everything that we said about our Bitchute, DTube, Twitch, YouTube,
all the links, you'll find them below.
Yep, everything will be down below in the description, okay? But anyways, guys, this is going to be it for the podcast, so peace.